The end of fiat, Bitcoin's time has come. Bitcoin is telling us a lot of truth through its price action. We're back above 110,000. That puts Bitcoin's market cap at $2.21 trillion. For reference, gold is a $30 trillion asset class at this point. So we're up there, but not anywhere near where we need to be. We got a lot of upside to go. We don't have the industrial leverage. We don't have the negotiating leverage. We're going to have to print a bunch of money, unwind from being the world reserve currency, but I'm this close to calling for a super cycle. I don't know if I've ever been more bullish. I don't think this bull run is going to end until Trump is out of office.
As the shutdown enters its fourth week, the Federal Reserve prepares for a crypto roundtable on October 22nd, after we saw cryptocurrency plunge following President Trump's tariff announcement last week. As the Fed grapples with inflation and interest rates, investors remain skeptical after Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell seemed less than optimistic, as he believes that it could be some time before we see inflation being lowered and expects prices to continue to rise. Heading into November, we are joined by Jack Mallers, who shares his insights into the price action and market dynamics for Bitcoin and why he's bullish in 2025. As the CEO of Strike, Jack Mallers says Bitcoin represents 1% of the world's wealth. After BlackRock emerged as one of the primary players with its iShares Bitcoin ETF, Mallers knew it was heading straight to $1 million per coin. Thanks to BlackRock's significant influence, there's an increasingly strong belief that, in the not-too-distant future, we'll witness Bitcoin's price cross another all-time high, which will mark another historic milestone for the Bitcoin community. He believes Bitcoin has crossed the threshold into permanence and serves as the gateway for substantial institutional investments, drawing interest from sovereign wealth funds, major corporations, and even governments. Let's get right into the latest interview with Jack Mallers, as he gives his outlook and price prediction for Bitcoin and where we're headed in 2025.
So as a reaction to all this rare earth drama, it's been shaking up the markets. Trump's been tweeting nonstop, moving Bitcoin up and down, up and down. Now we're getting action. Besant comes out and says, Besant on supply chains, rare earths, going to do equivalent of Operation Warp Speed to tackle processing. Whoa. Do you guys remember what warp speed was? So this is wartime terminology. Besant is saying, when you face a non-market economy like China, you need industrial policy. So he is saying the government is leaning into industrial policy. No one else is going to pay for it. We'll get into how it's going to be financed because you know our boy Jerome Powell came from his slumber and said, I'll print the money, Scotty B. I got your back. And then Besant, he was on fire over this last week. Trump needs emergency powers to protect the United States economy. So if you guys want to know, okay, is what Jack's saying really true? Because surely if we're in this chokehold with China, we're realizing we've lost military power. We've lost the ability to stand on our 2 feet. The post-1971 dollar is now destroying whatever is left of the United States of America. We got to start building stuff. Then Scott Besant should probably come out and say something, right? Yeah, he did. Besant on supply chains, rare earths, going to do the equivalent of Operation Warp Speed. No, it is not an accident, my good friends. Oh, and when you know getting real, when they tap our boy Jamie into the game. They say, Jamie, put your jersey on. You got to get in there. And what does he do? JP Morgan to plow $1.5 trillion. Yes, with a T, not billion with a B, trillion with a T. That's a lot of commas. $1.5 trillion into U.S. security industries. JP Morgan Chase & Co. will funnel $1.5 trillion into industries that bolster U.S. economic security and resiliency over the next 10 years. The campaign will invest in companies and hire bankers and other professionals in sectors such as rare earth minerals. Wow, no way. Who could have guessed that? Not us at the Jack Mallers Show. And defense, in aerospace and energy technology. JP Morgan estimated that the effort will add as much as $500 billion to what it would have provided anyway, and will involve funding that the firm facilitates, including handling stock and bond sales and arranging third-party financing. This was my favorite quote from our boy JD, Jamie Dimon. It has become painfully clear that the United States has allowed itself to become too reliant on unreliable sources of critical minerals, products, and manufacturing, all of which are essential for our national security. Diamond said in a statement Monday announcing the bank's target, "We need to act now." Guys, you have the U.S. Treasury Secretary. You have the CEO of the biggest bank, which is effectively nationalized, the too big to fail bank, the fortress balance sheet, the Jamie Dimon. You have Scott Bessent and Jamie Dimon come out at the same time and say, we are entering wartime financing to reindustrialize this country. Run it back. This is a national emergency. We need to act now. And you're telling me Bitcoin topped? Have you lost your skull? Did you get dropped on your head as a kid? Guys, we are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We are just getting started. Next slide. So, the thing that I want to, the one point I want to make on, we're going now into this reindustrialization phase of MAGA, of this administration, and of America as a whole. As I've said, this is bipartisan. The Democrats win the next election. It doesn't matter. We have to reindustrialize. The post-$71 is over. Fiat as we know it is over. We're going back to neutral reserve assets. We have to go back to proof of work. We have to start making our own stuff again. None of this is a debate. All of this is facts. We're living through it today. The one point I want to make to you guys is we can't manipulate time, and how the hell are we going to pay for it? Because as Bitcoiners, this is what really matters to us. As humans, governments inflating our time and energy away, our hard work. Because guys, again, money is your time and energy in an abstracted form. The money that you have is a reflection of you, your contributions to those around you, right? When you get up and you go to work, listen, you don't go to the beach every day. You don't lay around and drink milkshakes. Everyone listening to this creates value, produces something to the market. And in return for that, you get money. And so therefore, money is your time and energy in an abstracted form. In a perfect world, the money that you've earned is a direct reflection of how valuable you've contributed to society.
The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Mallers asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment, with a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs. Mallers highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem. He also suggests that BlackRock, under the guidance of Larry Fink, leads the charge in obtaining regulatory approval for Bitcoin ETFs. Moves like this, he contends, will underscore Bitcoin's enduring relevance as an asset and its potential as a hedge against currency devaluation.
And so for someone to be able to debase the money means by proxy, they're debasing you. It is the most disrespectful act, I think, in human history, fiat. Because you are looking another man in the eyes in devaluing them. Because by devaluing the money, you are by proxy devaluing them. The commute they had to take to work, the long hours they put in, the stress they endured, the sacrifice, they're not with their family. And for a government to say, we value you and your integrity and your contributions at zero. That's what we care about. So how bad is it? How much money are they going to print? And how long is this going to take? That's the point I want to make. Okay? Because look, the United States government has the false idea that they can print anything when they can only print money. They can't print time. They can't print energy. He said someone has to tell them that it takes 18 years to make an 18-year-old, you know? I love that quote. It takes 18 years to make an 18-year-old. If you want to reindustrialize, you want to train people on how to produce rare earths. You want to train people on how to manufacture chips. You want to bring blue collar back. We're in a population decline right now. So we're in a population decline. Who's going to be doing all this? We need to start having kids again. We need to train them. We need to reorder policy. We need to deregulate. This is going to take years. decades. My estimate is the soonest the United States can reindustrialize to the capacity to where in which we're happy is 10 years. I think by 2035, maybe. It's going to take years, ladies and gentlemen, decades to reindustrialize this country. And so the United States has a choice they have to make. The question is, how long is this going to take and how much money are they going to have to print to do it? The end is clear. Bitcoin and gold are going to go up so much, people are going to be shocked. In fact, it gets so dangerous to talk about super cycle this, super cycle that, this cycle's different, because then you always go back and you look like an idiot. But I'm this close to calling for a super cycle. I don't know if I've ever been more bullish. I don't think this bull run is going to end until Trump is out of office. The amount of money these guys are going to have to print for a sustained period of time, the fiat as we know it is over, guys. We're talking about years worth of reindustrializing, printing money. Who's paying for all this stuff? The US government is broke. We run twin deficits. We don't have cash flow to pay for things. The bull market's over. I can't be more bullish. I literally think we have years of money printing, reindustrializing, and unwinding from the fiat regime that we know as, and Bitcoin's going to be in an open competition against gold to be the de facto money for humanity. So I wanted to put out this tweet really to calm everyone down. I said, remember, Bitcoin is the most sensitive to liquidity. It moves first. It's a truth machine. Bitcoin on a Friday night tanking is telling us something. It's telling us there's something broken in the financial system.
Jack Mallers challenges the conventional economic metrics, asserting that these metrics are often manipulated to paint a specific narrative, like labor statistics and inflation figures. The ongoing adoption of Bitcoin by governments, institutions, and media signifies a broader recognition of its value. However, Mallers asserts this journey is just beginning, comparing the initial years to the current widespread interest and investment, with a giant spotlight on Bitcoin ETFs. Mallers highlights this being a significant development in the financial ecosystem, selectively measured to create desired effects rather than reflecting the true state of the economy. In this context, Bitcoin emerges as an alternative, detached from the manipulations of the conventional economic sphere. Mallers also highlights that established corporations like Apple, Amazon, and Google will use their established relationships acquired over decades to swiftly acquire substantial amounts of Bitcoin through a spot ETF, bypassing the cumbersome processes involved in procuring the actual commodity. This disparity underscores the transformative power of cryptocurrencies in traditional financial institutions. Michael Saylor underscores the importance of embracing digital currencies as the economic landscape is changing rapidly, and urges investors to leverage Bitcoin's potential to secure a more prosperous financial future. What do you think about the latest interview with Jack Mallers? And how do you think Bitcoin's trajectory in the coming months will impact the crypto market and the world of investing?